Hi everybody, wanted to do a quick video on how to reload the 4570 ammo using a single stage press. As you all know, ammo has gone up significantly, and if you're the kind of shooter that enjoys shooting large caliber ammunition like I do, the 4570 is a great round, but it is extremely expensive today. You know, you're paying $35 on up for a box of 20, so it's imperative to really load this stuff to get it done really cheaply. For rifle ammo, I use a single stage press like the Lee Challenger press, which is a great press. Costs around 50 bucks. You could find it used for a lot cheaper. It's made out of aluminum, which is actually has 20,000 psi more tensile strength than cast iron. So this is actually a stronger press than a cast iron press when it comes to having the tensile strength. So it's a great press to start with that. Now we're going to go ahead and take it a step at a time. I'm going to do a kind of different video aimed at the new user. More than anything, you don't need to buy a progressive or turret press. You don't need to buy anything fancy. Just a simple single stage press will do, with some simple tools. You need a caliper because there's a minimum overall length that you want to trim your cartridges to. So we're going to take this one step at a time. The reloading dies from Lee will come with a charge guide, and also will have documentation on how to adjust the dies as well as the cartridge length and the specification. So the minimum trim length is 2.105 inches. So the way that you want to do this, I buy the Lee products as I find them to be of excellent value to the end user for what they provide. And they have a pretty unique trimmer that I like using, and it's fairly simple to use. Simply use the shell holder that's included with that trimmer, and you unscrew it, you put it in the drill, take the trimmer, stick it in, and you trim it out. So you do that through all the cases. And one thing that you want to do through all your cases, after you trim them, you want to chamfer and you want to bevel the case mouth itself to make the bullet easy to go. Something that you need to do as well is to use a good lubricant before you do any operation on your brass, and you have to adjust your die. So we're going to go through the whole thing. Also, this is a tool for chamfering and for chamfering the case mouth. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lubricate the cases. And what I like to use for these rifle cases is a simple lube pad and the Lee Resizing lubricant. And this stuff can dry up if you leave it in the shelf for a long time. So all you do is you add a little water in it, shake it, and it comes right back to life. So there you go, and it's as easy as you grab 3 or 4 of this, roll them like that, done. They're evenly lubricated. Now they're ready to be sized and deprimed, and then we do the next 3, and that's it. So you can run through these pretty quick. So we're done with the lubrication part of it, and we'll put that away. So the next thing is that we're going to resize the brass, and we're going to decap it by taking the primer out. And the way you do that is that you put the correct size shell holder in your die, which will come with the Lee dies, and you take the ram all the way up. You screw this all the way down until the die touches the shell holder. Once you touch the shell holder, go ahead and tighten your lock ring, and you're set. You're ready to go. So now all we got to do is stick the casing here, push it, and it'll deprime it. So this case now has no primer. This one has a primer. This is sized, this is not. So we'll put that away. And we'll run through the rest of the cases in likewise fashion. Now, this process is actually quite fast in a single stage press. If you don't have a whole lot of ammo for rifle ammunition, I usually use my single stage press. But if I'm going to do a lot of high volume rifle ammunition like 223, then I'll go ahead and use my turret press. So that's it. We got 2, 4, 6, 7 rounds done pretty quickly. So we're done with that operation. Now what we need to do is we're going to remove the resizing die and depriming die. And now we're going to go ahead and make sure that the cases are at the optimum trim length. So we put the case length gauge on here. Let me tighten this properly. And we go ahead and trim it. And that's as easy as it gets. Trim that out. That one's good to go. Well, actually, while I have it in it, you should go ahead and chamfer the case mouth, and then you're good to go. Now we put these cases back in the front. Take this other case, drop it in there. And we do the same thing with this one. Go ahead and trim it. Chamfer it. And you're good to go. And we continue doing that. Using one of these cordless drills is really the best way to do this. If you remember to actually tighten it well enough, it's the best way to do it. This one's good. The first two needed quite a bit of trim, and this one did not. And that has a lot to do with the kind of loads that you're firing in each one. I've been firing some 300 grain loads that are fairly powerful, so those cases are naturally going to expand a little more, and they'll require a little bit of additional trimming. We're almost done here. We got 3 more cases to go. That one trimmed a little bit. Done with that one. And then we finally do this one. And now we just have one more to go. So this is pretty relaxing. I enjoy doing this quite a bit. Now all of these cases are sized to the proper length by using this collet here that actually is made so it will trim the cases to the perfect length. And we can verify that length by using a set of dial calipers. I said earlier that the trim length was 2.105, and right now it's 2.102, so we are in really good shape here. If I grab another one at random and I'll check it, this one is at 2.10 exactly. So these are all good. You don't want to go past 2.105. It's okay to be a little bit shorter, but not longer, because it may not chamber into your chamber. So now that that's done, we are ready to go ahead and prime it and put some powder in it. So to prime it, there's several methods of doing that. I like to use this priming solution. It's called the Ram Prime. So what I'm going to do is put this device into the RAM itself. It goes into the press where the shell holder would go, and then you screw this other piece where the die normally goes, and then the shell holder goes actually on the top. So what happens is you put this up and you see that there's a cupping here. That's for your primer. So your primer goes here and the case goes on top, and you simply seat the primer in place. So we're going to go ahead and use some large rifle primers for this operation. And we'll open it up. We'll get a few primers out here, and we'll grab the first primer, put it in. We take one shell, drop that ram, stick it in, and that's done. And we'll do the same thing with the next one. Drop it, prime it, and that's good to go. And the reason I like this Ram Prime is because the feel that you get in the priming operation is very good. It's unlike other priming tools that prime on the upstroke. I like it that this one primes on the downstroke. It becomes a little bit better from a pressure sensitive standpoint. I can tell when the primer actually seats all the way, and if the primer moves out of position, I can feel that it's out of position and I don't end up crushing a primer or anything like that. So that's why I like to use this tool. Again, this is called the Lead Ram Prime. It's around, I think, at $8, so it's very inexpensive. You're not going to break speed records, but if you're not into reloading for breaking speed records and loading tons of ammunition in one sitting, this is a wonderful tool to use. So now we are done with that. We'll go ahead and put the shell holder back in here, and we can put this away because we are done with that. So this goes back up here. And now we are ready to use the charging die. And the charging die, it's pretty unique with Lee in the sense that it bells the case mouth, and it also allows you to dump the powder right into it. And one nice thing that it has a place for you to put the funnel in there to drop your charges. Now, when I look at a charging table, well, so one of the things that we do is we push this all the way up, and then we examine the case mouth and see how much is beveled. If it's got too much of an opening, or if it's flared out too far, we want to back this up a little bit at a time until we feel that it's right. So the easy way to do it, just so you know, is to go ahead and try to put a bullet in it, and it should just barely fit on the base. It shouldn't slide in, and it should just barely grab the bottom of that base, as you can see. That's the perfect flare. Not too much flare, because too much flare works the brass too much, and when you work that brass in the resizing operation where you bring the brass back in, that expansion and contraction all the time weakens the brass, and eventually that case will fail. So what I've done is I looked at the charge table for the 4570 rifle data, and for a 4570 government modern rifle, I'm going to be using 300 grain bullets that are jacketed, and this reads 50 and a half grains to 54 grains. What I'm going to use for that is the improved powder measure kit, which comes with a set of scoops that you put the powder into. Excuse me, and they're measured in cubic centimeters. So this is a volumetric measure, and it comes with this. This kit comes with this charge table that you can move around, and you can find the powder that you want to in this scale, and it will give you the value in a charge of grains for each one of those scoops. I'm going to be using IMR 4198 powder, and I already determined through the charge, through the load tables, that using IMR 4198, let me look for it here again, 4198, I have a load data that takes me to from 53 to 54 grains of powder. Well, according to this table here, a 4 cubic centimeter measure gives me 50.5 grains of powder, and a 4.3 centimeter gives me 54.3. So the 4.3 centimeter is too much because it exceeds the 54 grain maximum. So we're going to go with a 4 cc measure, which gives me 50 and a half grains of powder, and I know that is a safe load. So now what we have to do is put our casing here, now that it's sized, it's primed, and right now it flares the case mouth. Take your powder, grab your scoop, stick it in there, level it out, dump it, and you have one charged case right now. So this is ready to go, and all it needs is a bullet. So we're going to go ahead and charge all of our cases equally. There we go. And so we have 2 cases done. Go for the next one. And when you're doing these large loads like I am doing on 4570 brass, you may have to tap that funnel simply because the opening in the funnel is fairly small and you are dumping such a great amount of powder. When you think about 4 cubic centimeters, is quite a bit. That's, you know, it's 50.5 grains of powder, which is quite a bit. And the powder actually, when I look at it, it comes right up to here. So when I seat the bullet in, there's not going to be much airspace between that bullet and the powder charge itself. There are some loads that I do use other powders that I end up getting a compressed load. That means that there's no airspace between the bullet and the powder, and you actually, when you seat the bullet, you crush the powder down under pressure and it compresses it. And that gives me a very accurate burn rate, so that my shots from one to the next are extremely accurate in the pressure curve and the velocity. So we're almost done here. This is the last one. This is actually a very accurate method. I have consistently used these scoops for many years, and I have measured my my loads with it, and I seldom get more than 0.3 to 0.4 grain deviation between one and the other one. So that's actually pretty good. Okay, so now we're done adding the powder. We take the charging die out, and now we put in the bullet seating die. The bullet seating die is adjusted in the following fashion. You take the ram all the way up, you sit this guy all the way down until it touches the die, and then you back out this die one full turn. And then what you do is you take this knob and crank it out counterclockwise to raise it, and you take your case, you put your bullet in, you seat it, you come out of it, and then you check it with your dial caliper, and you find out if you need to push it in further or to seat the bullet further down. And what you do is you reference this guide here, where it'll tell you that the maximum overall length for this particular load is 2.550 inches. So when I go ahead and put my bullet in, I'll show you there's a couple of ways to determine that. I've already set mine up, so I don't have to go through the entire procedure, but know something also. There is also a crimp that you can put on the case, and it crimps on these bullets that have a cantilever. The cantilever is that portion right there. It's kind of like a little serrated edge that goes all around. So the case mouth goes right against that, and you adjust the sizing die or the seating die, so it crimps the case right against that and keeps that bullet from getting knocked inside further. That's especially important if you're using bolt action rifles or lever action rifles. So how you do that is by once you seat your bullet close to where it needs to go, then you turn the entire die inwards by turning it clockwise, and that will push the die against the case mouth and will press it against the bullet, and that's that will give you the crimp. Mine is already adjusted, so let's go ahead and pull it out this way, and we're going to go ahead and measure it out. And I'll see that I have a 2.525 inch bullet seating depth. I don't know if that is apparent here. Let's see. It's kind of hard to find, but anyways, that is 2.5 and then 2.5 here. So 5.25 out of a maximum of 2.550. And I use a single shot rifle for my shooting in my 470, so I don't really need to worry about crimping my bullets, so I do very light crimp on mine. And so now that I've measured one, I go ahead and continue doing the rest. And this is your final station. After you do your bullet sitting, you have fully loaded rounds. So if we weren't talking through this and you're just actually concentrating on doing this, this operation goes actually quite fast. We would have been done with this already. So it's a good way to save your money, and it's a good way to continue shooting in light of the cost of ammo. So there we go, 7 fully loaded 45-70 rounds, single stage press. $50 here, maybe another $30 to $35 in the dies. This is about $20, I guess. Another $10 for the trim gauge. And then all you need is bullets, primers, and powder, and that's it. This powder for a pound is it's about $27 or $29. You know, the cases, once you buy one box of bullets, you can reuse those cases 10, 15, 20 times, depending on how much, you know, how hard you load them. So that's it. I mean, you can cut your cost from a box of, you know, 20 rounds that'll cost you $35 to $45 to about a box that'll cost you, you know, $15 or so. So it's an extreme amount of savings. So anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. God bless. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments. If you like it, go ahead and like it and subscribe. Thank you and take care.